I'm Brian Buffini. The video you're about to watch is how to build a referral business. Now, I'd like you to follow along with your workbook and take notes as we go along with the presentation. What you'll find that doing business by referral is not just a better way to do business, but a more profitable way to do business. I'm going to make some very, very strong claims here today. I'm going to share with you some things that I have found to be absolute fact. And that's this, that there's some ways that have been taught to do this business for about 30 years that are like the way of the dinosaur. And the ways I'm going to teach are actually probably older than that. They're probably 50, 60, and 70 years old. Doing business by referral is how business has been done for a long time. Is that true? Okay. But what I've done is put a system to it. So let's examine right now your options. If you're going to do this business, you want to go out and generate a lead, let's take a look at the proactive systems. Okay? You can write down a few of these. There's things like cold calling. Cold calling. You've heard of that. Telemarketing. Hi, you want to sell a house? 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 The fun stuff. So cold calling would be the first. Expired listings. Remember those? You will be seeing a lot of them in your future. Expired listings. The listings that don't sell. Very nice people to talk to. You've had a wonderful experience with the previous realtor, and they just open arms. Come talk to me. Next, the for sale by owners. For sale by owners. Otherwise known in the industry as armed and dangerous. Agents keep out. Okay. The next one of my personal favorites. Door knocking. Door knocking. How many of you have heard of these systems? Let me see your hands real quick. These have been the industry standard. The industry standard for years. For years. Over 30 years, this has been the way to go. How many of you were taught to do these things? How many of you have been to a seminar that taught these things? Let me see your hands. These are the ways to go. I'm going to show you how, although they were always somewhat unpleasant, they've become extraordinarily unpleasant, and now they've gone into another phase. They've become extraordinarily inefficient. So not only now are they unpleasant, they're inefficient. Other than that, they're perfect. Couple more. The proactive systems mean you go out and make something happen. Passive means you wait for something to happen to you. Some of the passive systems would be examples would be open houses. Open houses. Floor time. You've heard of that? Where you volunteer to be the receptionist. Floor time. Okay? Mailings. Mailings. Anybody know what the national average percentage of response for a mailing is? Okay. The current number is 0.6% in the big cities, 0.8% nationally. Let me prove it to you right now in case you just think that's speculation. How many of you in here, when you go to open up your own mail, you stand over a trash can while you sort through it? Let me see your hands. There's a principle I want you to know about mailings, because this is very important, because this is the one people always do. The mail 30 years ago used to be viewed with expectation. Today, the mail is viewed with suspicion. The mail used to be viewed with expectation. Mom, we got mail! Now it's, Mom, we got mail. How many of you have gotten a piece of mail that had a window envelope, and inside it looked like a check? What was inside? Promotional crap. That's a technical term. Maybe it was a solicitation from a credit card company. Have you guys seen these things? The mail used to be viewed with expectation. The Pony Express, the mail must get through. Today, we shoot the horse. Don't want to know. Don't talk to me. Overwhelmed. The mail is too much. Bum. It's shifted. The next category in passive is advertising. Advertising. And I want to put another subcategory under advertising so everybody's real clear on this. Underneath advertising, write the internet. The internet is advertising. Is everybody clear on that, yes or no? Many people have gone out and gotten personal brochures over the years. The internet, for the most part, is an electronic personal brochure. Now, how many of you in here have a website? All right, good thing to have. How many of you have more than one? I'm seeing this all around the country. This is the way to go. Now, the internet can generate leads for you. Is that true, yes or no? Just like advertising can. Just like open houses can. What we're looking for is the most effective. We're also looking for the highest quality lead. And it doesn't often produce the highest quality lead because there's no trust yet between you and the person. And so we have to take a look at these systems, why we do it, and what's the purpose. Now, when you run an ad and it doesn't work, what do the advertising agencies normally tell you? You need a bigger ad, you need to run it longer, or make it larger. Okay? Now, let's say you cook a meal this evening. Your spouse comes home, they try it, and it sucks. That's not a stretch for some of you to imagine. What you need to do is go, honey, you don't understand. Take a bigger piece. Trust me, the more you take, the more it'll grow on you. If it sucks a little bit, it's going to suck a lot. Is that true? People do an ad, it doesn't work, let's run more. People do an internet page, it's not working, you need more. Okay? And then what I have to question you on is, what type of lead are you bringing in? On a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best, 1 being the weakest. Those type of leads, what are they? 1s and 2s. Okay? They're lower quality lead. You might have a special ability to be able to take an ad call and to be able to convert them into somebody who will meet with you and have an appointment. That's maybe a special skill you have. If you have that kind of skill, I would love to harness it and put it to work in a very effective area. So these are the passive mechanisms. They've been out there for a long time. Farming. You've heard of that? Okay? Many farms across the country are having consistent crop failure in the real estate world. Farming. Because here's the thing, 30 years ago when people put something on your doorstep, you drop something off on somebody's doorstep, they called you up to thank you. Now what do? Okay? Don't be putting that garbage in my doorstep. Okay? Now it's happening over and over again. Here's why all of this is true. There's a sociological shift that has taken place in society today, and it is called cocooning. What cocooning means is that people are turning their homes back into their castles. People have a greater need for privacy today to protect themselves when they go home so that they're not constantly being marketed to. They want to have a way where they can just shut everything off. Okay? How many of you in here have America Online? Let me see your hands. Every single day you get connected to America Online, there's an offer to buy something. Is that true? And the second you get connected, what do you click? No thanks. Free gold. No thanks. Talk to the hand because the face not listening. Is that right? Because we're so inundated. They say the average American will be exposed to 150,000 ads this year. This year. Magazines, newspapers, radio, billboard, And what's happened is people are turning their homes back into their castles. Now this is nothing new. In medieval times the English did this and they built castles. What did the English do to protect themselves in their castles? They killed Irishmen. But after that, they built a moat. Now, how did you get into the moat? Drawbridge. Who controls the drawbridge? The person on the inside. Now, I'm going to give you one more piece on this. The American family, the average American family, has more than one moat. The average American family has at least 2. What would be an example of a moat? Answer machine. Caller ID. So let's say here's how it works. Mark calls me up. I look down. I recognize Mark's number. He's a friend of mine. And because I recognize his number, there's a relationship formed. Entrance into my castle is effortless. The drawbridge goes down. Just like in ancient times. When you approached the castle, if they couldn't readily identify you as a friend, the drawbridge stayed up. Is that true? So you had to pound on the outside walls, like door knocking. Or pound on the outside walls, like telemarketing. Or you had to throw stuff over the walls, like mailings. You pound, you pound, you pound. But if you have a relationship with a person on the inside of the castle, entrance is effortless. Now let's say June here, she calls me up. And I look down at the number, I don't recognize the number. June is doing the Tuesday evening, late night, cold call, pizza party night at the office. Broker's all fired up. Let's do this. Let's go get them. She calls my number. I look down, don't recognize the number. So the first moat is the caller ID. It then goes into the second moat, call the answering service. June will never get a return phone call. Is that true, yes or no? Is this reality, yes or no? I have a mechanism available to me today. The castles in America today even can go on the offensive. June calls me up. As I pick up the phone, she goes, hangs up. I hit star 64. It calls her back. Hey, why are you calling me? I'm able to reverse cold call her. Is that true, yes or no? Boy, I'll tell you what, now you got to look at things. Here's the shift that's taken place. 25 years ago in America, people bought answer machines for what reason? Not the screen calls, that's a modern thing. Because they developed this machine that when you weren't home, it could catch a message. What a fantastic thing. Growing up in Ireland, I knew nobody with an answer machine. My brother Gary went to college in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Everybody makes that. It's a well-worn trail, Dublin to Tulsa. Everybody does that. And what happened was, when he was in Tulsa, in his dorm room, they had an answer machine. And once a month, our family could afford to call him. And we'd all gather at the bottom of the stairs and call him. And it was even better when we called him when he wasn't there. And we'd leave this big, long message. He'd come home, he'd play the message, he could play it several times over. So 25 years ago, 30 years ago, people bought answer machines for this reason over here, to catch excess phone calls when they weren't home. But now the market has shifted, sociologically shifted. Why do people buy answer machines today? To screen the calls. 25 years ago, the mail was viewed with, what did I say? Expectation. How's it viewed today? Suspicion. Okay? Last year I got 2 pieces of mail on consecutive days. Dear Mr. Buffini, you're one of 2 people in the state of California with a chance to win $11 million in the Publishers Clearinghouse. Very excited because the following day I got a piece of mail. Dear Mr. Muffini, you're one of 2 people in the state of California. Chance to win $11 million. Expectation to suspicion. Is that true, yes or no? So here's the key point I want to make with you. When you go home at night, you protect yourself in your castle. You don't want to be telemarketed. You don't want to have people soliciting on your door. You don't want to be answering ads. You don't want to be sorting through all this junk mail. And you've protected yourself in your own home. Is that true, yes or no? And then you go to work. So by night, you cocoon in your own castle. And by day, what are you trying to do? Break into someone else's. And what we'll find ourselves doing is doing the exact same activities that, listen, we ourselves would not respond to. We'll find ourselves doing the junk mail. We'll find ourselves running the ads. We'll find ourselves doing the internet page. We'll find ourselves doing the cold calling even. Okay? And we'll do the very things that we ourselves would not respond to. And so we want to shift that around here. We want to start making some little changes in that.